right, very nice. So that was the tune Blue Bossa. What I did was I played the melody and the chords. And basically what you do is, you know, if you're playing by yourself just with the backing track, you can maybe play the melody a couple times through. Every time you play through the form one time, it's called a chorus. So you can play through the chorus a couple times with playing the melody, and then jam the chords along with it, really get the sound in your head, and then you can feel free to improvise over top of that in the key. But that's a whole nother segment we'll kind of talk about. But right now, let's just look at how to play the melody first, and then we'll look at the chord progression that backs that melody up. Okay, once again, this song is called Blue Bossa. So starts out, I'm going to play this, it's in the key of C minor, but the melody is easiest played in B flat mixolydian, which if you do your counting of all the modes and the key signature and whatnot, B flat mixolydian is within the key. So it just so happens that the way the melody's laid out, this is the easiest place to play it, where you don't have to do that much shifting. So it starts off with a quarter note pickup, which means that you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, bump, and then that first note comes in, and then it goes into the rest of the melody. So that first note is G, which is the 5th fret on the D string. So put your first finger there, and our first move is an octave. So going 5th fret on the D string all the way up to the 8th fret on the B string. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now second finger comes down, hits the 6th fret on the B string, and then you come down 8, 7, 5 on the G string. Okay, so that first line is. Okay, now staying in position, your pinky comes down 8th fret on the D string, and you go 8, 6. And then jump back up to the B string and go 8, 6 on the B string. Okay, so from the top again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now your second finger is already in place here to keep with the next line. It goes 6 on the B, and then 8, 7, 5 on the G, down to 8 on the D, then 6, 5 on the D, and then reach up 6th fret on the B to 8th fret on the G. So that's the whole A section. Okay, that's that little part we just covered, and from the top of the A section, 2, 3, 4. Now a little transition to walk up into the B section. I do a little 5, 6, 7, 8 on the G string, then 6, 5 on the G, 8, 6 on the D, so that's, and then 9, 8, this is the only part you have to shift, 9 to 8 on the A string. So I use my pinky on both of those notes, because then I can just put my pinky back on the 8th fret D string for the next part. So it goes 9, 8 on the A, then 8, 6 on the D, and then 6, 5, 8, 6, 5, 8, 6, 5, all on the D. Okay, and then you're back to the top. So let's just go over that B section one more time. From the climb here on the G string, shift with the pinky, back, and then, and now I'll come back to the the A section. 2, 3, 4. Now the B section, walk right up. Now shift. Now 6, 5, 8. Okay, so that's the melody. Take some time, learn that. I'll play the B flat mixolydian scale real quick just so you see where I was coming from. and so that's why I was right here in that position. All right, now let's take a look at the chords. Starts off with 2 measures of C minor. So we're going to play that first C minor 7 chord up here on the 8th fret. So you're going to bar all of the 8th fret with your first finger, and then 3rd finger comes down here on the 10th fret A string, and you can play all 6 strings. So let me show you each chord, and then I'll show you the rhythm. So this is C minor, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to an F minor 7. All we have to do is shift here to the 8th fret. Now our root note is 8th fret on the A string, and we're playing our minor 7 shape when our root note is on the A string. So we got first finger barring across the 8th fret here with our root note, of course, on the A, and then 3rd finger comes down 10th fret on the D, and then 2nd finger is going to come down and hit the 9th fret on the B string. So that's an F minor 7 chord, and you're going to do 2 measures of that. 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to come down to a D minor 7 flat 5. Here's our D, 5th fret on the A string, and it's 5, 6, 5, 6, all on the inside strings. So that's the sound. You only get that for 1 quick bar, then down to a G7 chord here. So this is 3rd fret on the low E. You're going to bar across. We're doing our dominant 7 shape here when the root note is on the 6th string. And so your first finger is barring across that 3rd fret. 3rd finger comes down 5th fret A. Then the bar takes care of the D string. 2nd finger comes down 4th fret G. And then you have the 5th fret the 3rd fret carried out on the B and high E string. So it's G7. And that's only for 1 measure too. So it's D minor 7 flat 5, 2, 3, 4, G7. And then this C minor 7. So same shape as we were doing the F minor 7 up here, but now we're doing it from the 3rd fret on the A string, which is C. So that's a C minor 7 chord. So that's the chord progression for the A section. Now to move up into the B section, just like we were doing now we can just take this same minor 7 shape here and go, okay, all the way up to the 6th fret on the A string, which is E flat. So that's an E flat minor 7 chord. That's our target chord we're trying to get to. So from the C minor 7 chord for 1 measure, and then on the 2nd measure, okay, now we're at E flat minor 7, 2, 3, 4, and then down to an A flat 7, which is the same chord shape as we just did on G7, but now we're doing it from A flat, which is the 4th fret on the low E. So 4, first finger takes care of the bar across the 4, 3rd finger comes down here on the 6th fret A string, 2nd finger comes down on the 5th fret G string, and then, like I said, that first finger is taking care of the bar. You can hit all 6 strings, A flat, dominant 7, or A flat 7. Okay, one measure, and then it goes to a D flat major 7 chord. So this chord is from, it's a very small movement from that A flat 7 to the D flat major 7. Here now we're on the 4th fret A string, which is D flat, and we're doing our major 7 shape when the root note's on the 5th string. So that's first finger, in this case, first finger 4th fret A, 3rd finger 6th fret D, 2nd finger 5th fret G, and 4th finger 6th fret B string. And then if you want, you could bar across the top with that first finger to get the high E in there, 4th fret as well. Once again, this is a D flat major 7 chord. And you can do this for 2 measures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Then all you have to do to go to a D minor 7 flat 5 is leave everything where it's at except for take this first finger and move it up a half step to the 5th fret. Now we're back to that D minor 7 flat 5, down to our G7 chord that we looked at, and then back to that C minor 7 chord when our root note's on the 5th string. And then the turnaround is a quick 2-5, which is just the D minor 7 flat 5 to the G7. Okay, so let's take it from the B section chords, right? That climbing up from the C minor 7 here. Then I have my E flat minor 7 to a G flat 7 to a D flat major 7 for 2 bars. Then we're only moving the first finger to get a D minor 7 flat 5 to a G7 to the C minor 7 from the 5th string root, and then the quick 2-5 back to the top. the B section. Okay, so that was kind of like something I threw a little bass line in. We can cover that later, but right now let's just talk about the comping of the chords over this bossa sequence. So in bossa, the main rhythm that's kind of the underlying pulse of the song is this kind of. Okay, so we kind of, that's what the bass is doing. We want to have our chord comping kind of surrounding that pulse. So we got, there's no right or wrong way, by the way. This is just an example of kind of how I feel it. So we're on the C minor 7. Okay, so here I'm just kind of going low to high. So right now I'm doing picking fingers, boom, jet, boom, boom, jet, pick fingers, pick fingers. But you can kind of do it more strumming too. Like I said, it depends on what you like and what the sound you're going for is. You could kind of do it more choppy, low, high. So kind of hitting the root note and then the rest of the chord. Low, high, low, high, low, high. With that boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, boom, cha. Because remember, that's the bass line. So boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, boom, cha. And then, of course, we have that melody that we just learned over top. So you can piece that all together and have a lot of fun. Once again, that's just a classic staple as far as jazz standards go. Blue bossa, C minor, love it. We'll talk about in the future how to improvise over the song, but right now if you just want to mess around, the A section is in the key of C minor, and the B section is in the key of D flat major. So really, it's two different keys. You can't play the same scale over the whole song, but when you shift into the B section in D flat major, it's kind of right here in position. C and D flat are only a half step apart. So while you're coming up here in the C minor, I could come down in D flat major without even shifting. So those are the two scales that you can use. But like I said, we'll talk about that more in the future, but if you just kind of want to mess around with it for now, that's cool too. Hope you enjoyed that.